Today we are going to cover about these are the core agenda for today's session. So what is Build and what are the key features that are available in Build and what is Build process automation? So then how do I set up Build apps on SAP BTP trial? So we're just going to explore these topics today and we can get started from here. So what is Build? Build is a low-code development platform available in BTP, and actually it allows any developer, right? Like you don't have to be extensive developer actually. So you can develop any enterprise application without any extensive coding knowledge, or actually like you can develop a simple application and build. So we have developed a small approval process. I can show you how I developed. So it's all a drag and drop. Because if you are from theory background or if you are from actually automation background, right, like it has been integrated into a single tool where it's a low code version where actually you can develop a simple application without any extensive coding knowledge. So that is available in your BTP. So we'll show you how to do everything in the BTP with the trial account. So the key features of Build is all visual programming. So like I might know, there was a service which is launched for workflow entirely. It's workflow management. SAP has done some kind of next level of upgrade, or I would say next level of product movement by integrating your workflow process as well as your theory application as well as with your other components, and it integrated and it brought into a session called visual programming where you can actually type your functions and your data variables, everything as a drag and drop. And then actually it helps you to automate everything. Let's take an example. You can create your simple UI application where in the UI application you can input your data over there. And once you have the data, so then you can actually do a seamless automation. And actually, like if you want to integrate, I have a process where I want to send order information to multiple customers. So you can do a seamless integration of those things as well as, and if I want to do a kind of a decision making. So that is also possible with this complete build app. So these are the key features of your build apps, and we can actually show you how that has been completely designed. So then in this build process automation, we are actually providing, this helps you to provide your a smooth transition. Like from your, let's take an example, you have a big UI application where you want to embed your workflow automation, right? Like it helps you to automate complex business process into a simple one, and also reduce, if you remember in the olden days when you use workflow management, you have to write a lot of data binding elements to trigger a data to your workflow. But actually now it's been integrated, it's been simplified using build apps. So if you develop a simple UI and if you have an API trigger, like you can trigger a number of automation processes in the backend, and so then it can trigger your workflow, and it can also trigger your seamless automation inside that one, and we can also call your multiple backend system. And if you want to do an automation based on your Outlook SDK, or automation based on your Word document, or automation based on your Theory app, everything is possible because it has touched upon multiple SDK components. So then due to this one, actually your life cycle of your application and development cycle has been reduced a lot because it tied us with a lot of SDK pre-built component, and also it increases efficiency of the development. And coming back to the process automation. So in this one, we are actually going to talk about flow management, robotic process automation, decision management, right? Like if you touch upon the earlier version of your workflow management, so that's a coupled services where you have your business process, that's nothing but your workflow process as well as your business routes. Now, SAP actually migrated all your workflow management and your entire decision management, and also it enhanced the product. Within that is something called robotic process automation, where you can, as I said earlier, we have actually a lot of SDKs. With the SDKs, you can do all the robotic automation. And also now, because AI is the one that is coming into the key play into the market now, so it also has embedded AI functionality. Let's take an example. If you create a simple scenario, it prompts with some kind of a code to you. So, and also SAP is in the coming year, like let's take an example, in the next fiscal year or something, or in the next fiscal quarters, SAP is trying to bring generative AI-based technology using Jewel, where actually you can type your prompt, and based on the prompt, it can actually suggest you what the code you can integrate for your build app. So that's on the roadmap though. It has if you are using enterprise account, they are giving a beta version of those things, but that is coming as a next feature element over there. So in this build functions, right, like we have various functionality like a code generation. As I mentioned earlier, like if you type something, it prompts you with a lot of functions that helps you to auto generate the code. And also it actually suggests some kind of a process automation. Like let's take an example. It has a lot of pre-built processes that are available in your BPA that helps you to bring a lot of process into that one. And it actually helps you to do the development optimization. Fusion development is something like you can integrate with multiple components and services using your destination. Let's take an example. If you want to do a automation based on with a lot of things, then you can actually you can use your BPA explicitly, where you can have your agent running, and the agent can do a lot of automation. Like there are two kind of BPA service automation that internet bot and uninternet bot. So that is also possible with that one. And also it has, as I mentioned, there are built-in functions like actually like if I want to do a Outlook SDK automation, if I want to do automation, Excel automation, or SAP Wi-Fi automation, everything is possible with that one. Build is something like it actually integrates your theory development as well as it integrates your BPA, like which is business process, which is the earlier world it's called as IRPA. It actually integrates everything. So now this is an intuitive drag and drop capability of easy application development. Okay, so and it is actually it is very useful for the developers because it more talk about on the config side rather than coding perspective, right? Because it gives you a section where you can define all the parameters as a coding parameter rather than you can do any development. And also you can actually touch base with all the cross-functional teams to speed up your development process as well as give the prompt result within a certain period of time. Okay, so then as a customer, let's take an example. If you're working with multiple client-side project, or if you're a customer that you're actually want to migrate from your existing Fiori app to your Build app. So this helps you to optimize and develop completing your development the earliest. And also this, let's take an example. You have a lot of repetitive tasks in your organization. You can automate those all repetitive tasks, everything. And also like you have a governance process tied up where you can have your process visibility as one of the factor where actually you can see where your automation is happening. And if you have developed a process with the internet bot, and who is the governance team, or which team is the more relevant governance team that is responsible for this one. And also like this is completely used by many companies around the worldwide actually, then it creates a lot of productivity and creativity across various industries. So we'll show you some of the key services that has been tied up into the build apps, and actually like I'll show you on a demo application that I built actually on this build app how it has been. Okay, so these are the example because a citizen developer, and also like I don't want to talk more about this one, like because this is something like you are going to integrate with this one, and also this is a future footprint for your SAP sustainability management, and also it actually allows a lot of SAP HANA Cloud customer to do a lot of automation over here. So next, coming back to the use case as well as application development, right? Like it helps you to create a cohesive user experience as well as create an automated job and business processes. As I mentioned earlier, like it's a BPA process, it's tied up into your build apps. We'll show you a process how we can create everything over here in build apps. Then it also helps us. Let's take an example. If I'm a citizen developer, I don't have to be an expert in my entire coding language. I can use low code and all the programming language. And also it can be used by many company website, right? Like you can call any website URLs or any URL that you can integrate using your REST API calls. And also you can create multiple destinations. You can by integrating with your multiple backend system. And this is a completely advantage of going as a build apps. It reduces your cost for the development and automation, and also it helps you to encourage improved collaboration between the developers and subject because SMEs, because now we are talking about the automation process. So each and every business area will have SMEs. It helps you to integrate with them and create a brand new process with a complete collaboration. Okay, so then you can also create a workable prototypes, and also you can also create a reusable artifacts. When I talk about artifacts, you can create a reusable build apps application processes and all those things. And it has a pre-built API components, and it has pre-existing apps which integrate with your SAP and non-SAP system. And also it helps you to run for your enterprise application as safe as possible in the open environment. As you know, BTP is always SOX compliance, audit compliance platform from SAP. And also it is secure network, which comes under a very highly secured network area, because SAP is investing a lot in BTP rather than other application, because that's a cloud is a future. And as you know, like we have a lot of customers want to move to BTP at the earliest with a lot of new services available, and Build Apps well is one of the key focus for SAP to grow in that sector. Okay, so when I talk about actually like disadvantage, like I don't want to talk too much about the disadvantage. Like you have an option to create multiple apps, but actually flexibility is something like when you want to customize something, like you have to create a number of application. Like so, if you want to reuse some component, the reusable factor is not matured yet. SAP is working to refine that reusable factor as much as possible, and also it occasionally unfit, like some example, right? Like if I develop one core component of the SDK or some kind of a business process, if I want to tie up to multiple services, it's something like whatever process you might be using, it might be fit for a single requirement, or it might not be fit for other requirement. That's a kind of a thing like we have to sit with SMEs and find out how we can actually take it forward from that. So just to a brief introduction, like how you want to onboard yourself into BTP. So like these are the steps. First, you need to have your cloud identity services to be installed in your cockpit, like install current cloud identity services. If you go to the cockpit and go to service marketplace, and actually you can follow this step, and you can create the services, and you can create the instance, and you can create the subscription. I will show you how I have done in my cockpit account and in my trial account, how I onboarded myself into the cloud ID services. So next, once you onboard yourself into the cloud ID services, then you can click on your account and you can activate your account completely. So then once this is done, you will have a seamless integration to authenticate yourself with that ID services. So you can use two options, like I will show you in the identity management also, how it has been integrated in my cockpit. So you can actually go with your default ID services also, and the new ID services which we are actually provision as additional over here. Okay, so then once you go into the trial account, okay, so then you can see the step actually where you will be provisioning your own security. So because in this mainly we are talking about the trust configuration, where I'm giving my own user ID and adding my user ID to the trial to the ID services, whichever ID services just I have provisioned to my trial account. So then I'm actually giving list of roles to myself. I'm adding to myself to onboard into SAP Build apps and other applications, because these are the roles that is needed. Like I need a registry developer role, admin role, and the Build apps developer role, and all those roles. So everything is completely data, because once you have the ID services enabled, you will have a single sign-on established for your all the apps, whatever you see. Like you have your upgrade Build apps enabled, a single sign-on enabled for your Build apps, as well as for your BPA. Okay, so then next is something like once you have your build apps, let's take an example. So you'll have, I'll show you how many services that I have provisioned for this on my trial account. Like if I want to have my entire service functioning at the most feature, right? Like I need to have these roles, like I need to have build apps admin role, build apps developer role, and registry admin role, example. Okay, so once you have all these roles, then you will be able to onboard yourself into the trial account, and you will have all your options over there. Okay, so just these are the settings. So let me go to my cockpit and I'll show you. Okay, I am into my cockpit. So as I mentioned earlier, I have actually onboarded myself. If I go to instance services, where I have given my ID services, let me show the ID services. So this is my trial account. Okay, so I'm into my trial account. So then if I go here in my ID services, so I come to my trust configuration, where as I mentioned in my slide, like I have configured this ID services. So this is a custom ID service, and you can also onboard yourself into the default ID service. So the reason why we are going with the custom ID service is because to establish single sign-on between your build apps as well as to all your application all the apps that you're developing. Okay, so that's the main purpose of creating a custom ID services over here. So then coming back to your services and instances, like if I go to instance and subscription, so I have actually subscribed for SAP Build Process Automation, SAP Build Apps. So as I mentioned, like this is a service that I have actually created, a separate service. This helps you to enable single sign-on. okay, between your build apps application as well as with your BPA component. And also you need Business Application Studio, which is nothing but BAS, to develop any Fiori application. Like you need, if you want to create a form out of your Fiori application and everything, like if you want to develop a custom outflow process, anything, you can actually use your BAS to develop that one. Okay, so let's actually go to BPA. I'll actually show you, like if I click on this one, this is nothing but actually I'm into my lobby. So if I come to my lobby, I have developed these projects. Like as an example, as a demo, I have created a sales order management application and other applications like sales order application, which is my core build apps application. And this is nothing but my process automation application where you can have your entire process automation things. This is my overview process. Okay, so if you see here, I have created an approval form, which is nothing but your UI5 simple form, as well as approval notification and various data types. And this is completely orchestrated using sales order processing process. So this actually touch upon this automation process. So you have your trigger and you have your approval conditions. You can see your conditions here. And also you have your approval form, whether if it is approved or rejected, like you will have if it is rejected, it will go for a notification. If it is approved, it will actually in this application with a good note. Okay, so this is about your entire BPA process with the build apps I have created as a demo application over here. So I can even actually show a simple form so that I have created using build apps. So let me type something and I'll show you in the process visibility how you are able to see that one. I give this name and I can give some material number as P dash. Can give dollar amount as $50, $500, or I can give $5,000 as my delivery number. Delivery date I can give as 07/14. Sorry. And I'm clicking on submit here. Yeah. So you can see the process has been triggered. So with the API call, and if I go to my lobby, and if I go to the process workflow and instance, where you can see your current running process. Take some time to come up, but actually, yes. So this is a process just I triggered, and you can see all the data about the process, like it is auto approved or it's actually what are the steps that actually gone into my process. Like this is my entire approval flow. What are the steps that actually gone into that process? You can see everything in the detail log over here. And you can also see all this context now, pre-build everything in a low code way. If you work in the previous workflow management, you have to code all these things to create this context binding. Now this has been made very easy with the build apps when in the modern way of doing the workflow process automation. This is just a quick application of a demo, and also you can have your mind box. Earlier, if you remember, if you have your portal application, like portal site, where you will have a separate a tile called my inbox, where you can actually see the task list of tasks which comes to you. You can have the same feel over here for my inbox.
All right. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand.
So if you are into Cloud Foundry, either you can onboard yourself into AWS or Azure or into Google Cloud. Okay, in the Cloud Foundry perspective, and once you're there, if you go to your service instance, right? Like let me show.
I know service instance. Okay.
The service instance, you can actually type something called SAP Build Automation. Like just you can type.
Okay. SAP Service Foundry. Okay, Service Marketplace. Correct. Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Service.
You can actually you need to create SAP Build apps and build process automation. So you need to onboard to yourself all those things.
Okay, yes, build apps and process automation. Okay. From there we can go. Okay, thank you. Really helpful. Yeah. Thank you, Alok.
Yes.
Thank you.
First question is: this SAP Build app is totally code-free like our SAP CAPM, or is require any coding background?
So this is a low-code version. So like here, if you want to integrate CAPM service, like you can have a separate CAPM developer also, because I'll just give a trend, right? Like if you are a Fiori application developer, you have knowledge on CAPM, it is good to know about build apps. So that is the upcoming market in the market trend, right? Like, but if I'm a workflow developer where I have only limited knowledge on my build app on the coding perspective, even I can go ahead and develop all my build apps very easy. Don't want to know extensive development. Like it's all low code version you can go in. But actually it is good as a Fiori developer with the CAPM knowledge, good to onboard themselves into build apps. But if you do not have much coding experience, it is easy to manage. Like it's all now automated. I would say lot of pre-built libraries are available that you can actually help yourself to easily learn about these things.
Okay, got it. And in future, should we align with this Gen AI topic, or it will be a totally different build the app and that SAP Joily?
SAP Jewel is nothing but your AI integrated service. So you might have heard about open source technology, which is nothing but SAP GitHub Copilot. Okay, so GitHub Copilot is something like once you type your prompt, it helps you to bring a lot of code prompt into your system. So SAP want to have their market share into all the generative AI space. That's what they brought a Jewel. Jewel is totally different, and your build apps is totally different. So
Okay.
Jewel is the generative AI component of SAP version, where actually it helps you to integrate with multiple SAP services and products.
SAP
Yeah.
Build App is best. It cover the workflow processes also, correct?
Correct. So now there is no workflow management, and there is no IRPA. Everything is come under the simple and single umbrella called SAP Build.
As well, and what you call SAP HANA modeling background. That's all. Not much with the ABAP or coding or Fiori or any such kind of coding experience I have. I don't have, basically. Will I still be able to succeed? Because everywhere I'm hearing that the BTP is the next world, right? So
Correct.
how to position myself to know, irrespective of my role. I'm playing some senior role, but I just want to sustain my survivability within the market. How can you suggest that even if I take this course, will I be able to succeed?
So in this course, right, we will touch mostly on the build apps like build process automation. So build process automation is the next feature to automate a lot of services. Example, right? So as a senior developer or a senior person in a company, right? Like if you do not have the coding knowledge also, so build apps also has a Fiori component. Let's not talk about the Fiori component, but it is we are actually going extensive on BPA. With BPA, it's just a drag and drop. Like you can create your own BPA process and you can put all your inbuilt function over there. And also you can understand easily, it's all visual component over there, right? Like it is easily, you can design your own process. And you can become as an automation developer. So that's what you can land yourself as automation engineer. So that will help you to get a lot of new jobs because SAP Build BPA as well as IRPA is coming as a separate job offering in the modern trend. When if you eliminate your build apps also, so SAP build process automation is coming as a separate job trend nowadays.
Could you touch base on a little bit of like what are the prerequisites required? Because we are getting this question quite a lot. I've been in SAP for a while, whatever module. What are the prerequisites? Correct. What do we need to start this training and excel at it? After the training, how do we proceed further? What type of practice, what type of job roles, a little bit on that.
Coming back to the prerequisite, right? Like, so all the participants, like if I'm even actually I'm an ABAP person, I can actually land as a build automation engineer. And also, like if I do not have the coding knowledge, extensive coding experience into Fiori, UI5 and everything, you can onboard yourself into build engineer, SAP build engineer. Okay, and let's take an example. If I have my career on my Fiori application or Fiori or UI5 or workflow management application, I can actually become as a citizen developer with all build apps trend over there. Like, so there are two career paths has been set. Like you can become as a build apps engineer as well as you can become as an automation engineer. So if you have a less coding experience, you can come as automation engineer. If you have a entire knowledge of extensive BTP knowledge, you can become as a build apps engineer.
And does it support all the industries, all the domains, like Definitely. All of it? Okay.
So as you know, like AI is an upcoming era as well as it is actually happening with the modern all the trend over in the market, right? Like AI is going to be the future. A lot of innovation, automation happening in the AI space. SAP also want to land their area into AI. And also, as you know, like BTP is the way to go for a lot of customer to build their complete application into the upcoming era. So automation plays a major role, and SAP's complete innovation or complete investment happens in SAP Build BTP, and Build is going to play a key role on that one.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Raise your hand, ask your question. Let's keep this interactive, guys.
I'm a SAP UEFI and Fury consultant developer. So I just wanted to know, because currently I'm developing the freestyle applications in SAP Web IDE, and it is going to obsolete. So how can I start in the SAP Build apps, or how can I migrate our application from SAP Web IDE to the SAP Build apps? Is it possible, or how it is connected with the BAS? Means what is the prefer?
So if you go to BAS, now SAP also gives some plugin to migrate your entire Web ID based application into modern era of creating application using BAS. So you can migrate your application, and also like if you're from, I think if you're using Web ID, you are from Neo background. So Web ID is, and now it's completely Cloud Foundry, and as you know, Neo is going to be obsolete in 2025. SAP want to completely stop entire investment, or I would say stop operational by 2026, end of 2026. And already they made a decision not to invest anything on Neo by 2022. So now there is no services that are released in Neo. And the way to go is you need to convert your applications into BAS. And there are a lot of pre-built plugins that helps you to convert your, because I have extensively worked in one of the customer. Actually, I have migrated my Web ID application into BAS application, and I have deployed those application into Cloud Foundry BTP system. Because here actually, right, if you are into the modern era, you will not have the project structure like app routers, and you will not have something on the services and all those things, right? Once you migrate your project over here, once you import your project into your BAS, it helps you to create all those different components like app routers, services, other SAP UI5 module related components, right? Like once you deploy that one, you will have your entire BAS application that will be deployed into your BTP. So then you can also integrate your application into Build apps. So Build apps is something like you create your entire automation or orchestration flow. You can integrate into your Build apps. So it is easy for you. Like we can also try to show you how to convert that also as a separate training or a separate session. It is actually possible.
Thank you.
How this Build app will be helpful in terms of functional consultant, as you said, UI developer or a wrapper can use. How the functional can add on value in this?
So functional is something like they are called as SME, subject matter expert in all the core business process. If I am a functional consultant, if I learn about automation process, I can create my own automation system, own automation project in BPA. And I can also help to do a lot of automation in that space. Let's take an example. I'm a functional consultant from SD. So if I know how to create a sales or automation process with all supply chain process, I can create my own BPA or IRPA based automation process using Build, and that helps me to, it will be a good learning for me to get exposure to automation side of SAP new modern era, and carry my journey in that space too. So because Wi-Fi developer or any web developer, right, they might have touched upon Fury development as well. They can actually do all those Fury-based development. But if you are a functional consultant, you know the entire supply chain automation or something like that. Like you can help you to onboard into a BPA-oriented automation process, because you can become an automation engineer on your SME areas. This is my sales order process, right? Because I have taken a sales order process over here, and I have created a simple automation process, and this is completely a low code version. I did not develop anything. Like even if I remove my UI application, you can build your entire automation process with unintended bot kind of application, and you can develop your own process within your as automation through BPA. Okay, so this is about your BPA, and I'll touch upon other components over here. So like you have your own approval form, auto approval notification example, like, and you can also monitor all your application using workflow instance. This is a backend door where you can actually monitor this one. And SAP also coming up with something called process visibility. So the process visibility helps you to see who is the actual intended person, or it will gives you a perspective who is the current approver for your particular task or something, task or approval form. Okay, so this is about your complete BPA build demo application. So yeah, so just a simple form I developed and I just integrated with workflow, which is nothing but your automation engine. And then I just shown you how you can monitor all your build apps here. We will, in our training, we'll go in depth of multiple sessions. Like we'll categorize into multiple sectors. Like one sector is with using theory-based application development. Another one is automation-based application. We'll have multiple scenarios in both the sides, and you will be able to understand all the scenarios in.
Could you touch up on a little bit on the use cases you're going to use in the training, a little bit more?
So when I talk about the use cases here, like we can do order process creation, automation process. Like so if I am SME, how do I create my own automation process using SAP BPA? And I will actually then, if I am a UFI developer, like in the same thing, I will actually use multiple SDKs like Outlook SDK, Word SDK. And also, if you want to create a bot-based agent, another use case is something like you want to create 100,000 of orders, and I have all the order information in my Excel sheet. How do I automate the entire Excel report into order creation process? I'll use IRP or BPA to do all this automation process. And also, if I'm a UEFI developer where my job is to create a UEFI application, and how do I integrate my entire UEFI application into this build process? We'll show multiple examples, starting from the beginning, like how you can create a form on the form, how you can actually trigger that form to have your multiple steps of process to do all this automation. So we are going to cover BPA perspective of automation using bots, and we are going to cover UEFI-based application, build apps that can touch upon multiple business process automation.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I just have one question. So what would be the use cases, or what percentage of use cases would this SAP Build would solve than the BAS is? I mean, normally BAS is very extensive, and I do understand it's a lot of not a sort of low code environment, but then lots of industries and companies would prefer that because of the flexibility it gives, right? So what kind of, or what percentage of use cases do you feel will the build be solving than the BAS?
Let's take an example. If you are a core UI developer or core, I would say open source developer, right? Like BAS is a way to go, but actually 70% of your coding skill will be reduced in build when you come to build. So like, if you know only 30% of the functions and how to use the libraries, you can play around with build and you can create a lot of automation over here in build. So I would say like 70% will be reduced from your BAS to build. Here all it's SDKs as well as open libraries as well as your then library functions. So that helps you to create a lot of process over.
Okay. So in case of if I have to trigger an API that I have with any of the SAP or non-SAP applications, right? So do we still have the hooks or the built-in modules or SDKs to do that as well? Or the integration capabilities are also built in?
Yes, we have those APIs and integration capabilities also built within your build apps. And there are multiple triggers. Either you can trigger through your UI application, or you can actually have your own UI trigger within your pre-configured bots. So let's say if I have a bot, through bot I can give the input for API trigger. So if I have a agent running on my system, right? So I can have through my agent I can input that. So anything is possible with this.
The action via the bot to the trigger.
Yes, that is possible.
Okay, so also we'll be able to develop a similar related application, and we'll be able to publish it into the internal stakeholders or the internal users who can actually consume this as well.
Yes, so there are various scenarios, right? You might actually have your Fury application in your portal site. So if you have your launchpad into your BTP, you will create a portal-based application in your portal site. So your application will remain as is. So from there, your background mechanism will be built. So build is completion automation engine where it can integrate to multiple components.
Okay.
And if you have if you have a native Fury app on sitting your S4 or any REC system, that is also you can trigger from that. So wherever you have your application, from there your build you can trigger your build up.
We just keep the UI assets and then we just rewire the backend processes. That helps a lot. Thank you. Thanks a lot for the great session. It was really helpful. Thank you.
So if you're new to SAP, I would actually recommend to either onboard yourself if you know some kind of automation or some kind of functional knowledge about, like, you can be if you know about supply chain industry function, or you can know about education industry knowledge, any kind of a functional knowledge that helps you to correlate by
supply chain in particular. Supply chain in particular.
Yeah, so if you have a supply chain, supply chain industry, right? Like, do you have any experience on SAP, actual SAP system, like creating orders and all those things in SAP?
Zero, no. I only know that is important for me.
But if you have that minimal knowledge of supply chain industry, right, you can actually correlate something with your operating and automation process. But it is good to have some kind of like how to create an order, like, because SAP deals with a lot of tables internally as a system, right? Like, this helps you to just create the automation process. But if you want to see the realistic order, you need a SAP thing. But you can learn along that one in coming days, right? Like, that should not be a toughest job, but you can learn these things in the coming session or when you start your career into SAP. But if you have a background of supply chain, it helps you to create the automation process, and you can have another kind of a session or a training to onboard yourself into SAP SD and MM, so that you can actually become as an expert in this.
Okay, thank you so much.
Others, there are some questions on the Q&A section. Like the first one, which is posted, is, as far as I understood, by using SAP BTP, also we can make use of SAP APIs provided by SAP for each core module to automatize processes using business automation from BTP. Is that right, or am I wrong? You can read and answer that question, please.
Okay, so coming back to that one, right? Like, so I have used the same BTP API to create. So I have created my own form. So in this form, I have actually used SAP pre-built APIs, and I have triggered that BPA process using that API. So that is true. We can actually, suppose if you have a purchase order is created, depending on the purchase order, you can actually even do the same thing. Whatever process that you do, you can create your own business process, and you can actually take it forward from there. So coming back to the next question. So if you are 12 years of experience in ABAP, will this technology help me to? Yes, definitely. Like that will be helpful to onboard yourself into an automation engineer. And if you are keen to, let's take an example, like since you are an ABAP developer, it is good to have a Fiori experience, because now BTP is the next era of SAP, because SAP is investing into BTP and they want to do a lot of new co-innovation into Jewel using SAP sources, automation engineer or a native build apps engineer.
Anything about the curriculum, anything about the training, please ask the question. I also want to show you what and how we will cover the training program. You want me to take a quick session on the LMS, so just kind of show them how the LMS will be, how the documents will be shared, all of that stuff if you want. So if you can see my screen, once you enroll with us, I'm just showing you our SAP S/4HANA data migration training, which is going on right now, just to give you an idea as to what you get from our learning management system, how we conduct the training, how the materials are shared, video recordings, how the sessions are conducted, how you can get all your questions answered in the session, offline of the session, okay? So this is our learning management system. You will have access to this learning management system after you have enrolled with us for the training program. The schedule of the training is Saturday and Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Central, or if you're in the Indian time zone, it is about 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 3 hours each day, each session, 2.5 to 3 hours. And then, so this is how you're going to get the LMS. This can be opened from anywhere on any device. So you can use it from your cell phone, tablet, laptop, computer, desktop, whatever. And you can access the session. So this section right here, you can raise any tickets you have about the server or anything like that. Curriculum will be posted right here. You'll see all the curriculum, the course which will be covered. Material sections, I'll come to this section in a little bit. Let me go to the video recording. So all the sessions you attend. So right now, these participants for data migration are attending the session. Right after the session, each and every video will be posted. You can watch the video. This is local to that particular LMS. It's not accessed by anyone outside of the learning management system. All those who have enrolled will have access to this. They can see all the videos of the completed sessions. So our topic names will be listed. You can see all of this stuff. This is how the video recordings are shared. You can watch these videos again from any device, from any place, as long as you have access to this learning management system. Also, all the session topic links will be posted here, so you can just click and attend the session. Zoom links, just like how you attended today. So they had session on July 6th, July 7th. Now the next session will be July 13th. This is, again, I'm just showing you as a sample. We are very particular about attendance, so we'll take attendance and mark the attendance right here for you. Now let's get back to the material section. We build all our course materials, which includes the session PowerPoints, assignments, assessments in-house. So I'm going to show you a little bit. Let's take one of the PowerPoints. As you saw today's PowerPoint, similarly, we'll create all the PowerPoints. But again, the PowerPoints is used only for, like a structure for the training. It's not a PowerPoint style of training where you're going to go into the PowerPoint, the trainer is going to explain, and then, we are going through the PowerPoint. PowerPoint training does not really work. It has to be hands-on. So we follow an 80-20 hands-on to theory type of training. So most of it will be on the system itself. But just so you can follow a structure, we will have all the PowerPoint shared with you. All of that is going to be here. Your assessments will be here as well. Let me just open just one of them. I'm just opening it randomly. Lab activities, assignments will be here. All those, again, as you can see, this is all local to, built by us. We build everything in-house. You will have access to all of these documents, and server details, if there is anything, will be posted here. This particular data migration training has a lot of servers. There's like 6 servers connected to each other. All that we do ourselves. We do end-to-end configurations. We provide servers for, everything with all the data, everything. We configure all of this beforehand to provide this training. So that's it about the LMS and learning management system and everything. If someone has any question about this, please ask.
The ability of the server, after learning management system, once I have enrolled to the course, I am accessible for LMS, I understand.
So on the server part, right, so if we are trying to have an enterprise account for BTP based on the number of participants, we will create, so in BTP, because if you have enterprise version, you will be able to get a full fruit session with enterprise account, right? We'll give BTP enterprise account, as well as we'll give S/4HANA cloud access with RDP access. And also, because RDP is needed for you, if you want to go ahead with something on the agent, right? We'll install the agent into your BTP as into your RDP also. And you can start your session, everything over there. So we'll share all the details. So if you come to your LMS, and you will have all the details over there.
My question was around validity of the account.
Oh, the validity. So for your server access, you will be given access depending on the training. So let's say the training finishes in a month, you will have a month access. If it finishes in 2 months, you will have 2-month access. But you will surely have the ability to extend that access as well. All right. Again, the training, we are expecting this training to go for at least a month. So you will have access for a month. But if you want to extend that access, we'll provide that access as well. Okay. If you want to extend it and practice it for 6 months, we'll do that. 3 months, we'll do that.
What would be the training period for?
Okay. The training actually starts from coming weekend. And it's Saturday and Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time for 2.5 to 3 hours each session. That is, in India, it is PM, Central EST, goes for 2.5 to 3 hours. We are expecting this training to finish in 6 weeks, so 1.5 months or 5 weeks, depending on 3 hours or 2.5 hours. We also have a lot of different options for installment payments as well. They both are done through either Klarna on Stripe in US, and you have EMI options for India as well. We'll send you all that through emails after the session.
And also, team, we have attached the course curriculum as part of our email. You can also go through the course curriculum. And also, we'll fine-tune something. If you need additional topic, we'll actually take on the fly in the session also. Everything is there as part of your email. Or if you need additional details, let us know.
And also, we do corporate trainings as well. We are actually very big on corporate training. We provide training for TCS, KPMG, Micron, Freshworks, LTI. We have about 250 customers, SAP customers, for whom we train direct. We are their direct vendors. So if your employer and your team, your manager has, requirements, please get back to us. We offer at this point about 220 courses. So that is also there. And then we have a video platform where we sell videos. We have a lot of stuff. We have dedicated servers, dedicated client servers again, end-to-end implementation for quite a lot of courses in SAP, all the latest versions we have. So again, we have a dedicated portal for our video training as well. If you've got some emails from us, you'll see that we have a dedicated portal for video training as well. If you go to ZaranTech.teachable.com, if you can see my screen still, we have about 129 or 130 courses in SAP. A lot of these courses are all live. These are all video training programs. Again, I'm not trying to sell you any video training program, but you can always see all these courses we have on our platform. We sell bundle packages to customers who buy 20, 30 users for all the 129 courses, or your individual courses prices are also here. It's a very detailed course. You get everything from, your videos, assignments, assessments, everything. A lot of people do like to go through trainings at their own pace. So we have all of that here. As you can see, this is a video training program for MDG. Again, as a sample, I'm showing you this video. Again, assessment, assignment, quiz, the whole 9 yards is given to you. Also, another thing which we do is we have at the end of the training, you get all the certification guides, everything, the whole 9 yards you get on our platform. Another thing you get from us when you sign up is that at the end of the training, you get a certificate of completion, which is validated. I mean, it's got an ID. Let's say you want to complete the certification and post it on your LinkedIn, under awards and certificates. That's perfectly fine. You want to showcase this online, and then your employer wants to verify it. They can come on our website, verify that. Everything is all listed here. So this is just a video training platform. It has nothing to do with the live training. Live training is a different section. This is a public batch. Anyone can join. So yeah.
For the recorded video sessions which you were just showing, right? So if I get it, so is it a lifetime validity that I have access to these videos?
No, you will have access to these videos through our portal for 1 year. There is no lifetime access.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even for the live sessions, we do have the same sort of a validity again, right?
The live sessions are for the duration of the session. So it's about 1.5 months, like depending, it's a 30-hour course. So if we cover 5 hours a week, then it's going to go for 6 weeks. That's live. And then those same sessions which you attended live, you will have those videos for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the validity again remains the same for 1 year. Yeah. That's what I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So just to Alok point, right? The session will be more interactive. So like we will touch very less on PPT. So like we want, like we have a lot of lab activity. So like once we have the servers, we will let you to do a lot of lab activity, and step by step. This is going to happen from your day one. Like we will help you to onboard to your trial account, and also we'll first actually onboard to our enterprise account, and we'll mimic the same thing to your trial account. Then we'll take it from there. Like we're going to be more interactive and more lab activity perspective, and you can learn more about the concepts, and you can come up with your own scenario if in your organization. We'll try to solve the problem as much as possible.
What I understand is we will get the enterprise account, because I think SAP is already providing the free account, correct? So
correct. So yeah, we will provide enterprise account, because as a company we have our separate enterprise account. We will onboard you to our enterprise account, and during the training period, you will actually able to access all those services, especially on the build apps and BTP, and also S4. And you will have access to RDP as well as to your S4 HANA system.
But as far as resources, we can provide you all the resources. We have probably like about 200 or 220 questions set. We can provide you that. We can provide you all the links to the resources. As far as doing what you have to do, it's you have to do that. So we'll provide you the resources, but we don't prepare anybody for anything. You know what I'm saying?
In the paper, I don't have any idea about the build apps, and in industry, what's the work they are doing actually in build apps. So means in course, are you going to cover that? What exactly the projects is in the market and how they are executing and how to prepare for it?
Yeah, so to touch upon that point, right? Like because build apps is something like a niche one or just upcoming service. Because based on my real-time experience, so what is the current use case? Because I'm actually working on the top 5 companies, how they are looking into build apps and everything. So I can actually touch upon those scenarios and use cases. how it's been used, and how the customers want to onboard, migrate themselves from existing Fiori application to Build apps. I'll just walk through those some scenarios and use cases that will give some new idea, like new perspective, how we can onboard yourself into that space too.
So Adarsh, we have some questions. How does
Yes.
BTP connect to S4?
Yeah, so there are two parts, right? Like you can create a destination in Build apps. So if we come to SAP Build, there is something called destination configuration. That also ties up to your BTP cockpit destination. So once you create a destination in your build, so the same destination will be created into your BTP, and through that you can actually connect your S4 system. We will show you in our session also, like S4 HANA. We'll connect our S4 HANA system, and you can also practice as in your own as part of your training.
I'm a functional consultant. What kind of automation that we can see from sales order perspective? We already have open text tools for automatic order creation. How BTP is different from that?
So I'll touch upon that perspective. Like, so if you have a order creation process, especially you might have heard about RPA agent or bots, right? Like, so because IRPA was one of the product, Intelligent Robotic Process Automation was one of the product SAP launched recently. And so if you want to create 100,000 or 10,000 orders using your Excel sheet, you can create your own automation process using SAP Build BPA. And with that one, you can do a lot of automation, like order creation process, order approval process, a lot of things you can do from that. So I have seen some customers have created a lot of automation using BPA build, and then they have automated through SAP build automation process, not through other open tools. Because once you have everything in your same ecosystem, that helps you to design very little things. Then, because if you go to open text, you need to create your own data structure, API contract, lot of things. But if you are into the same umbrella of SAP or SAP ecosystem, you can reduce your development time or overall development cycle time. So this is one of the part over automation through sales order process.
Could you touch base a little bit more on the certification of, what certifications they can take after this training, or how much more preparation they have to do for that certification?
So SAP do not have an extensive on BTP, but SAP has a full stack developer certification on BTP. So under full stack developer, like you have most of the session on build as well as Fiori application as well as BPA component. So using that one, like you can actually, like if you take SAP BTP full stack developer or a full stack engineer, so there are multiple levels, like you have advanced level, you have actually medium as well as beginner level, right? Like you can take any of this one, like this ties up to those certification. This training will help you to ties up to those certification, SAP full stack developer.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
I can see another one, like can you share if this app in BTP or ABAP? So these apps are in actually BTP, but on this question, for example, right, like if you want to develop anything on ABAP, like you need to go to BAS. So like you can actually pull your entire ABAP workbench into BAS, and you can start a development and build your own function module or your RFCs over there, and you can create your own data service and actually push back from BAS to your backend system. So from there, you can actually integrate your BAS with BTP, BAS on BTP with your ABAP system, and you can actually start a development over there. So BAS is nothing but Business Application Studio. It is a completely, you can integrate your entire development for your ABAP in. So we will show you how to use BAS as part of this training, like how to create a Fiori application or UI5 application, but to pull the workbench or something like that, that comes as part of separate training, because we are going to touch upon mostly on the build apps only, not on the that part. Yes, so you can create application in BAS and it will run on BTP. Yes, and also if you create any Fiori application, that also can be deployed and running on your S4 HANA system as well.